Those of you who are scaling your companies and eager to get to that mountaintop, if you're a $2 to $10 million company that's trying to scale big time and exit, or if you're that six-figure entrepreneur that is trying to get to that first seven figures, you need exponential growth. You need to make that happen, and this is what we do all day long. I want to share one key insight with you here that we see consistently with our clients and with the people we talk to, where you're making one key mistake, sending people in the wrong places so that they're not having a predictable, measured journey and experience that will lead them to a more predictable revenue with you and easier data to track, which is the name of the game here. So Jim Padilla with Gain the Edge, we specialize in that exponential growth, and we have been in that journey of generating $500 million worth of sales results for our clients, and happy to share with you any insights that we can that will help you make your job just a little bit easier. Okay. We had, trying to get this sucker up here. There we go. We had an amazing happening this past weekend, and that's because we are grandparents to this beautiful, stunning young little girl here, this 1-year-old beauty, and that is Abigail. And we had the whole family spend some amazing time with her, and she's just a bundle of fun and joy. And I will say this, if you don't have a grandkid, you need to go get you one because they're freaking amazing. But while we were at this party, this here, which you may not identify and recognize, this was a air machine that was filling up a bounce house. So if you have little kids or grandkids, you probably know what a bounce house is. And this was in the backyard of Abigail for her big birthday party. And I saw this cord. I was looking at this big extension cord, and you can't really notice by the picture because it just looks small, but it was very large. This is what a normal extension cord is. This is what your lamp cord looks like. This is what a high velocity power cord looks like. And in my days of running an alarm company, owning my alarm company, we noticed that people try to push high velocity, high intensity speakers, sound through small speaker wires. And they would wonder why great equipment couldn't produce a great outcome, because there were constraints. And one of those constraints is these thin wires. So we had high voltage running through this machine so it could produce enough to keep this big bounce house going. And it required something more. And it made me start thinking about the sales revenue that comes into place and the sales experience that most of us are dealing with and that we see with you all the time. Something happens amazingly in most sales cycles and most sales funnels. Most of us are at a place where we want to have high volume coming in the front end and high volume coming out the back end. First of all, most of the time we don't have enough of that high volume coming out the back end to make something magical happen in the first place. Okay. But what we need to do is, we live here in Sacramento on the American River. And if you could generate all of this revenue, enough revenue here to get all of the water in the American River through to your hose, you would not get the same amount of water coming out like a fire hose. You would get a trickle, because what would happen, no matter how much of this water you put through on the front end, the only thing you would get is what would fit through the hose. So no matter how much you pump through the front end, this is all you would get out the back end. Versus a fire hose, which has far more velocity, has a stronger source pushing through, and it has hose that was designed to move that water through at an accelerated rate of speed and have a controlled outcome on the back end. So you get this high power, high velocity, amazing stream coming out the fire hose instead of this little spittle coming out of your garden hose. And of course, it made me think about your sales funnels and all the things that you're doing, because most of the people that we see, it's just something that's not thought about enough. We are always trying to just push more and more people through the funnel that we are working in. And let me just tell you, that's just a tough way to go, guys, because you need to make sure that when you have a funnel, it's designed for a specific experience for a specific person. And if there's things you want to do to move people through the top of funnel, whether they come from your YouTube ads, your email, your Facebook, where are they going specifically? What's the source? Where are they going? What's the intended activity and action, the behavior when they're supposed to get there? And you need to have an answer for every one of those. When somebody gets your email and goes to a page, what's supposed to happen at that page? What happens if that thing doesn't happen? What happens if it's a yes? What happens if it's a no? Where do they go? Where does it move? What are the likely things that are going to happen, right? And then all of the right activity happens, and then you start getting people towards the ideal outcomes, right? If you want people over here buying your trainings or buying your concierge services or coming to your events, you need to know exactly what it's going to take to get people into that spot at the right time so that they're ready to take transaction, move, have an experience that's going to lead them to wanting to solve the exact problem that you deal with. And these are the things that we talk about all the time. We spend 10 minutes looking at your sequence and we can easily find the keys that people are missing, the reasons why people aren't taking the actions, why your bottleneck, where in your funnel is things being broken, where in your pipeline are things just missing altogether. Okay. But I want to give you 4 quick questions that you can ask yourself so that you can start applying them inside of your sequence, whether it's inside your funnel, top of funnel, bottom funnel, low funnel, inside your pipeline, inside your sales conversation. It's all the same. We just unpack the sales conversation so that it happens before the sales call, after the sales call, before the offer, after the offer, right? It's all about just designing the journey so that they are experiencing this. And here's the 4 key questions that you want to make sure that they are clear about. Number 1, what do they need to know? Okay. Now, first of all, well, 3 quick T questions with a parent question. What do they need to know? Number 1, what do they need to know about themselves? What do they need to know about themselves to know they're in the right place? What do they need to know about themselves to know that they should do something to go forward? I'm tired of this problem. I'm tired of the situation. I'm getting fed up here. I no longer want this current outcome that I'm experiencing. I want something better, right? Have something, as my friend Dove Gordon always says, they have something that they don't want, have a problem they don't want, or they want something that they don't have. It's really that simple. But what do they need to know about themselves to recognize they're in the right spot? What do they need to know about you to recognize that you're the person that can guide them in the right place? And then what is it that they need to know about their problem to know that they absolutely don't want it anymore? They're done with it. They're ready to toss it in the trash, be done, and go. And if everything inside of your funnel is not speaking to those things, then everything else you're sharing is irrelevant. And you need to make sure you're taking it down to micro steps. If they know this about themselves, what do they do? If they aren't sure about this in the sequence, they don't know about themselves in this process, meaning they're not really sure how to identify that they've even got the problem, then why are you sending them to the opportunity to buy something when you should be sending them to the opportunity to learn something? What do they need to evaluate about themselves, assess about their situation, look at in the mirror, right? Just break it down to just some normal, simple processes, right? And then you'll be able to answer all of this. The technology is not the key, not the point. It's not about the funnel. It's about where they are and what mechanisms are you putting in front of them manually that you can then automate and diagnose inside of a funnel or a process. So I want to get this thing wrapping up here. So the key here is you don't want to be your sales funnel, your sales flows, your sales processes, and your strategies. You don't want them to be this little bitty extension cord when they need to be a high power, high velocity cable. You don't want them to be a little bitty garden hose. If you're looking for a fire hose of activity to come through your sequence, your funnels, and your activities, if you want that kind of activity, then you need a hose that can move them, that can hold them, that can support them on that journey clearly, powerfully, and expectantly so that the magic can happen. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to invite you. This is something that we've just recently put in play, and I'm going to share this with you so you can see on the bottom here. Jenny is our new AI automated assistant, and her job is to have a qualification conversation with you to get you on my calendar if it fits, if you're looking for a high-powered, high-revenue opportunity. Check it out, see how it works for you, and get on my calendar if it makes sense. And I would love to have a conversation with you about breaking through and finding that next high revenue opportunity that I promise is inside of your business. You're just doing something wrong. You're choking off the flow of activity in some unnecessary places and that are causing friction unnecessarily or a lack of clarity. And we want to help you eliminate all of that. So jump in, call Jenny. For those of you who don't want to get on the call, you want to or don't want to happen to jump on the phone to talk to her, you can just go right here, go to connectwithjim.com, and let's find your missing revenue together. Book a conversation, get on my calendar, and let's make some magic happen. Okay, but we want to get you to a place where that is no longer your reality, and that you now just come to a place where business is happening, revenue is happening, all the right amount of clients are coming through when they need to, at the right time, at the right place. You're having the right conversations with the right people at the right time about the right things so that you can move the needle forward and change the game for them, whether they're ready to buy now or later. You want to affirm for them that they're in the right place and that they don't need to go anyplace else to get their problem solved, because they're being confirmed and validated inside the process all the time. We can help you make that happen. I'd love to have a conversation with you and see how this is working for you. And what else are you looking for as you're generating your high revenue business model? And what kind of support are you looking for? Because that's the name of the game around here. We're helping you scale your company, reach the mountaintop with exponential growth. And if it's something that we can help you with, or anybody inside of our amazing, badass peak performance player network, we've got every solution you're looking for in your business. And we're happy to make the right introductions or solve the problems for you. So go make some magic happen. Go change some lives. Start serving the people that have already trusted you to come into your world, and they're looking for something bigger and better, because you are the solution. You've got the cure for what ails people, and what you do matters. You deserve to be paid well for it. So let's make sure that's happening. All right. We'll see you on the next one.